kept pushing on, but then you went too far. When your ship has sailed and all your dreams are lost, everything is wrong, you feel like it's your fault. Just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just call me. Just call me. Just call me. Just call me. You're stronger now than you ever been. You gotta leave now, it's time to catch the wind. You will climb up high and look through the clouds, and when you're feeling low, I know you'll bounce back. Oh, and just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just call me. Just call me. Just call me. Just call me.
Welcome in, everybody, to Texas Motor Speedway, the Great American Speedway. We are live here on Sim Racing Media. Tonight, we crown another champion in the Racers Elite Series of races here. They're racing their Xfinity cars tonight. We have a good battle brewing as we've got the point standings up on the screen after the eighth race playoffs here. We come down to 10 points. Daniel Honeycutt did what he had to do last week. He wound up bringing home the victory at Auto Club, but Brandon Puffenbarger didn't fade away. He finished P2, so he only got that deficit cut by about 5 points. So Daniel Honeycutt's going to have to win tonight and probably have Brandon Puffenbarger finish 5th or worse to see if he can bring home that championship. But Puffenbarger right now sits at 2,356 points. Daniel Honeycutt, 2,346. They are the guys that have a chance to win tonight as they are off of the chase for the Cup standings as these guys jump into their lone qualifying run. Like our Kohaas is going to be one of the first drivers out. We got Dennis Kane, Todd Slauson out as well. Ira Kohlhaas coming through 3 and 4 right now. Headed to the front stretch of this quad oval. Time for Kohlhaas. 30.11. So he is definitely up there. Dennis Kane finished his first lap. Got that red, white, and blue Ford rolling through his first lap, halfway through the second, as he is up there at 30.68. We got a new driver here in Chris Snyder in the number 3 Taco Bell Chevy with a 30.33. Todd Slauson rolls through with a 30.22 in the 88 Chevy. Looks like Aaron Marquise is working his way through the front stretch here. He didn't quite get what he needed. Timothy Hoke finished his first lap with a 30.76. Chris Snyder came back with a dynamite 29.99 to go top of the board. Todd Slauson a 30.07. I think these guys might have a tough time here tonight as they're rolling through this qualifying pretty quickly here. Joshua Neal rolls through with a 30.89 on his first lap. Evening, Joshua. Always checking in on the chat as usual on YouTube. You guys are tuning in there. Be sure to subscribe, turn on those bell notifications. We do this basically 7 nights a week here on Sim Racing Media. Like Aaron Marquise ran his fastest lap time as he got a little sideways there towards the end. Kinsley Smith rolling through with the 00 Toyota. Still waiting to see when our championship contenders are gonna roll out. You will see them tonight on the tower. They will be highlighted in blue, so you can be counting the positions and see what needs to happen in order for them to bring home that championship victory. Lee Campbell on pit lane right now. But while he rolls off, we're going to jump over to Brandon Puffenbarger. Has that 5 Chevy been rolling through the season here? Puffenbarger has 7 wins on the season. He also has 14 top 5s, 16 top 10s. And, of course, that 10-point lead coming into tonight. Coming through 3 and 4, headed to the front stretch of this quad oval here at Texas Motor Speedway. Puffenbarger tries to get as much speed as he can into that 5 machine. 30.22, 7th quickest right now. We'll jump over to Daniel Honeycutt in the 72 Toyota. Had a heck of a season for himself as well. He got 6 wins, 14 top 5s, 19 top 10s. And he's got that 10-point deficit he has to make up tonight. Going to be a little tougher for him as they do have almost a full field showing up tonight. Honeycutt with a 30.10 on his first lap. But Brandon Puffenbarger goes to outside of row 1 with the 29.99. So, I mean, thousandths of a second separate him from the pole position. Daniel Honeycutt rolling through on his second lap. Looks like he's quickest as of right now. Looks like he's going to go a little bit quicker. 29.83 for Daniel Honeycutt. Like he might be starting himself on the pole. Ian Campbell rolling through his first lap. 29.98. So they definitely jump up to the front row right there. Back-to-back sub 30 lap times there. Brandon Honeycutt first lap was a 30.47 as he comes down the back stretch or down the front stretch. It's 30.47 is what he will score. Looks like Spencer Hanneman in that 77 Lining Kugels Ford, a 31.50. Looks like we have the monster machine. That 98 Ford of Andrew Teft won't be battling for a championship tonight, but he will definitely get some practice here in this Xfinity car going around Texas Motor Speedway. We head back here tomorrow night in the Next Gens. Andrew Teft and our Truck Series champion, Austin John Smith, are tied in the points tomorrow night in the Next Gen Series. So they will be battling it out. Every position will matter tomorrow night for Andrew Teft. First lap for Teft is a 30.61. Like Jeremy Carter in the 26 Chevy trying to get his first lap down. Coming to the start-finish line is Carter. First lap, a 30.43. Andrew Teft second time by, a 30.17. Good enough to start just inside the top 10 for the moment. We got Brian Tiffany, Dwayne McManahan, David Palmer, Garrett Larder. Like Alex Teft is rolling through. Has that Aflac Ford moving here. Going to start his first qualifying run. First time by for Teft, a 30.61. See what he can do second time by. Right now he's pretty much the only one on track. And Teft will move up a couple more spots. 30.23 for Alex Teft in that 43 Ford. If anybody else is going to try and jump out on track, it doesn't look like they'll have time as we are inside 20 seconds to the start of this race here. We'll get these guys locked and loaded, go through the starting grid, and get set for championship night in Texas. So jumping over into the race session here, we'll let these guys get in their cars here. We can get a good look. We'll grab the grid real quick. Daniel Honeycutt's going to start on the pole, and that is where he'll want to finish. Ian Campbell just to his outside. Chris Snyder and Brandon Puffmarger make up row 2. Row 3, Corey Crawwell and Todd Slauson. We got Jeremy Carter and Ira Kohas in row 4. Row 5 is Lee Campbell and Andrew Teft. Row 6, Dennis Kane and Timothy Hoke. Roll on back to row 7, Alex Teft and Joshua Neal. Diego Rodriguez and Brandon Honeycutt make up row 8. Row 9, Aaron Marquise and Spencer Hanneman. Then we got Kinsley Smith and Jarrett Larder rounding out row number 10. Brian Tiffany and Dwayne McManahan. And David Palmer going to start shotgun on the field here. Looks like everybody is in their rides, and we are going to get this race underway momentarily. Everybody pulls off. Daniel Honeycutt comes in here, like I said, with a deficit he is going to have to make up. It's going to be a little bit harder than last night. Last night they went off Winston Cup Series points, and Austin John Smith was able to bring home the championship. But tonight, other than the winner, every position's basically 1 point. So we're going to see what happens here. Brandon Puffenbarger is starting on the outside of row 2. So we'll see what he can do here tonight. Lights are out on the pace car. They are stacked. They are locked and loaded here in Texas. Coming through the 3-4 complex. It is time to get ready to rock and roll in Texas. Daniel Honeycutt leads them to the Geico restart zone. He is down and away. Ian Campbell just to his outside. They stay tight together, rolling through turn 1 here. Side by side still. Ian Campbell fading back just a little ways. Going to try and slide down. Yeah, not going to get enough, as it looks like we got a crash in the back of the field. And we are under caution on lap 1. Let's take a look and see what happened back here. Oh, that is not where we wanted to go. Well, let's roll that back here. Look, it started up in front of these guys here. Stop it there. Let's see if we can get to left here. Get a better view. Looks like the 14 kind of spun his tires there. Dennis Kane had to check up. Alex Teft had to check up. Jeremy Carter down on the inside. Kane gets into the back of the 14. Joshua Neal and Alex Teft kind of come together as they're both trying to avoid everybody. 26 gets sent into the 82 of Neal, Aaron Marquise, Brandon Honeycutt, Spencer Hanneman. We got Jarrett Larder, the 37 of David Palmer. We can see where that started up towards the front here. Let's go back again. Doing. Get to a different chopper view here. There we go. It looks like Diego gets checked into there. Not sure who started all that. It looked like it's happened up front just a little ways, but that is not the way Daniel Honeycutt wanted to have to start this race. Definitely not sure who started that. Let's go back live here. Working through lap 3 pretty quickly. But here, gonna get stacked up. Looks like the lights are out on the pace car. We're gonna see if these guys can see a lap under green flag here. Daniel Honeycutt will lead him to green one more time. This time he should have the button. He should have all the control he wants as they get ready to go. Everybody's going to get stacked up. Looks like Spencer Hanneman's back a little ways on that inside row. They'll get stacked up here pretty quick, and we will get ready to go. Pace car makes that hard left-hand turn. Daniel Honeycutt with the button as they roll through the quad oval here. Hit that Geico restart zone. He's going to wait till almost the end and get a great jump. He is out to 0.3 of a second already. Ian Campbell and Chris Snyder side by side for second. Brandon Puffenbarger in third. Looks like he's going to try and slide down in front of Todd Slauson, and he will do just that. Ian Campbell staying to the outside here. Dives down to the inside. Follows Snyder as he goes to the inside. Snyder then slides up a couple rows here. Ian Campbell working the inside lane. Daniel Honeycutt trying to stay in his lane. He doesn't have to beat these two drivers. It is about 5 more points for winning the race and finishing second. So we'll see how that figures into his run here. Campbell is all over the back here of Daniel Honeycutt. Coming through the start-finish line. Honeycutt with the lead. Ian Campbell in second. Ira Kohlhaas up 3 spots, running inside the top 5. Todd Slauson back into 6th where he started. One of the biggest movers is towards the back. Spencer Hanneman in that Leinenkugels machine was able to avoid catastrophe at the start of the race. As he is currently sitting P12 up 6 spots. Also up 6 spots is that 87 Toyota here. Looks like we have Tiffany and Palmer that called it a night early. Ira Kohlhaas making that high line work. He's up there wrapping it pretty good up there. Has a huge run on the outside of Ian Campbell. Ian Campbell goes down to the inside, going to try his best shot at the lead here. Honeycutt slides up, has been running mid to high. Ira Kohlhaas goes down to the bottom side. As Honeycutt almost gets into that wall. You just saw how close he was there working through that backstretch. Here they come through 3 and 4 to the tri-oval. Ian Campbell going to lead that lap. Daniel Honeycutt second. Ira Kohlhaas third. Chris Snyder and Brandon Puffenbarger battling it out here for fourth. Puffenbarger takes that position. As these guys are battling here on track, let's go back through the field a little ways. Go back and see what Andrew Teff looks like. Corey Crowell also hanging out here. Spencer Hanneman. As Aaron Marquise down to his inside as they battle through that quad oval. Marquise gets a run headed into one. It's going to take that position from Hanneman. We got Diego Rodriguez and Joshua Neal. They're battling to stay inside the top 15. Coming through the start-finish line. That 17 machine of Diego Rodriguez. Looks like he slowed a little bit more than Joshua Neal was expecting. Neal had to check up heading into turn 2 there. Lost a little bit of ground there. Go back up front. Ian Campbell, Daniel Honeycutt, and Ira Kohlhaas. Ira Kohlhaas gets a run coming off of turn number 4 through the quad oval, and he's going to get P2 at the line. Honeycutt and Kohlhaas side by side. Honeycutt's able to get that line back from Ira Kohlhaas there. If you're Brandon Puffenbarger, all you have to do is keep Daniel Honeycutt within a couple cars and you will come home the Xfinity Series champion. Right now he's sitting P4, as you can tell on the tower here. Both those guys representing in blue on that tower as they come down the backstretch. You can see how much speed they carry going through there. Like I said, these guys are running with 130 laps tonight. Around Texas Motor Speedway. These guys are flying through laps. Ian Campbell has pulled to 0.3 of a second lead from Daniel Honeycutt. Honeycutt's cruising back here in second. Guys have got most of the field pretty much lined out. Ira Kohlhaas up to third. Brandon Puffenbarger hanging on to P4. Todd Slauson in that 88 Chevy is up one spot to P5. Chris Snyder had a little rough start. Faded 3 positions, but still running just inside or just outside the top 5 in P6. Lee Campbell in that 14 Chevy's up a couple spots, running P7. The Ollie's machine of the Timothy Hoke in that 59 is up 4 spots, P8 right now. Andrew Teft up 1 spot just inside the top 10 at P9. And you have Corey Crowell rounding out the top 10 tonight in that 21 Toyota. Had a bit of a rough start. Looked like he was kind of caught flat-footed on that original restart. Lost him a few positions there. But he is looking to battle back. As these guys are working through. These guys do have a limited fuel run tonight. Let's say they're going to make it somewhere around, usually around 30 laps or so. I imagine this first stint is going to be extended a little bit as we had about 4 caution laps, but we'll see what happens as they work through this race. See if we can go on board with Daniel Honeycutt. See how he can work around Texas Motor Speedway here. Sliding up towards that outside wall as they come down the backstretch. And then after this, we'll jump over and take a lap with Brandon Puffenbarger. Coming out of turn 4. Kind of get to the wall, and then you want to turn back down as you head towards that start-finish line. Kind of cut those lines as close as you can. We'll jump back to Brandon Puffenbarger as he's able to take P3 away from Ira Kohlhaas. And it looks like we got a battle brewing on the track as well. We got Andrew Teft and Timothy Hoke. We'll jump back there momentarily. See what we can see with Andrew Teft. Timothy Hoke looks like they are working together. Looks like Lee Campbell is looking to the inside of Corey Crawwell. Corey Crawwell got up to P9. Ooh, Timothy Hoke into that outside wall just a little bit. You can see the damage there on the right side of that 59 machine. Crawwell's going to try and slide down to his inside. See if he's going to be able to take P9 away from Hoke, and he will. Stays down low through the backstretch. Going to try and stay away as far away from him as he can. Looks like Joshua Neal is going to the inside of Kinsley Smith. Kinsley Smith had some issues early in that Aaron's Dream machine. Looks like he was kind of having some connection issues, but Joshua Neal cut that corner a little too much, got in the grass, able to keep it going in the right direction here, but he will lose some speed as Kinsley Smith goes to his outside. Side by side they go through turn 1, coming out of 2, almost 3 wide as Alex Teft goes to the high side. Gets in behind Smith there. So thought better of it there just a little bit. Joshua Neal, Kinsley Smith still battling side by side. Lee Campbell was able to get by Timothy Hoke up here for P9. Looks like Hoke had a little bit of trouble there. Hit that outside wall and has been faded back just a little bit ever since. We'll see what happens as the race rolls on, if that damage is affecting him. Looks like Dennis Kane's trying to close in on the 59 machine. But our 2 points leaders, or championship contenders rather, are separated by 1 position, but they're separated by a second on track. Daniel Honeycutt's trying to do everything he can to get as many points as he can and leave the rest up to mistakes from Brandon Puffenbarger. Brandon Puffenbarger just has to run a clean race, stay within shouting distance of the 72 Toyota, and we'll see what happens at the end. But as long as he stays within a few positions, a few more if Daniel Honeycutt doesn't win the race, because you get those, I believe, 4 extra points, so it winds up being basically a 5-point split between first and second place. And then every position after that is one point. So we'll see how that all shakes out here. We'll stay with these guys until they go through their first pit stop here. Looks like Aaron Marquise has already made his way down pit lane. Might have had a little hiccup as he is getting damage repaired. He's spent almost 40 seconds in his pit box so far and might be spending a little bit more. It looks like Spencer Hanneman is fading down the backstretch, or down the front stretch now, as he's hit that outside wall again. Looks like Alex Teft cut that grass too, just like Joshua Neal did a few laps ago, so he's going to lose a little bit of speed coming through 1 and 2. Down the backstretch they roll. Texas Motor Speedway. It is a pretty fast track here. It is a 1.5 miles. 20-degree banking in 1 and 2, and 24 in 3 and 4. So these guys have that little bit of banking difference there. Quad oval kind of changes the way you have to drive the track, as you've seen these guys basically go out to the wall, coming out of 4 to try and make the quad oval as straight as possible. As it looks like Honeycutt and Puffenbarger are starting to get closer and closer together here. The gap was a second. Now it is down to 0.4 of a second. These guys know what's on the line tonight as they're driving down the backstretch. I mean, and they know how good how good each other are. As between everybody here, it looks like Ian Campbell comes down pit lane right now as he is making his way on his first pit stop here. Daniel Honeycutt's going to stay out, as is everybody else. Looks like Ian Campbell's faded back to be towards the back of the field here. Looks like Diego Rodriguez is coming in too. So looks like 33 laps is probably the number here. You do 33, you're pretty much going to make 3 pit stops tonight. So we'll see what happens with the way it runs. And it looks like we're under caution. Not sure exactly what happened here. Maybe we had an issue on pit lane. Take a look here real quick. Crowell. Oh, it's Andrew Teft in front of Crowell. Andrew Teft. Let's see if we can take a look and see what happened here. Looks like he's trying to slow down, but he's on part of that banking coming off of turn 4. Starts losing grip on the rear of those tires and just can't get it straight as he's locked them up. Hits the inside wall. Corey Crawwell is sitting there driving down pit lane trying to basically go back out to the track, but he was already headed into pit lane. Looks like it's still open. Still open. The 14 of Lee Campbell also came down pit lane. And then it is closed. So rough night there for Andrew Teft. Everybody is coming down pit lane. We'll see what happens once they get stacked back up. Last night we had a caution happen almost the same time when we were doing green flag pit stops. As they race off a pit lane, looks like Honeycutt barely beat Puffenbarger, so they will come out 1-2 once again. This time they will start next door to each other on this restart, it looks like. We'll see what happens once they get stacked back up. Like I said, we were going to stay with these guys through their green flag pit stop run, but as we have a caution and they'll be under the restart here. We will we'll see what's going to happen. See if they're going to be able to get the wave around for part of the field. I know it looks like Crowell and Ian Campbell are both going to have to drop to the back as they enter closed pits. Not like they could do much about it. Andrew Teff probably also has to do that, as he looked like he spun around and went down pit lane as well. We'll see what happens here when they when race control gets this all sorted out. We'll just wait and see momentarily. We should be getting the one to go, and then we'll see how this how they restart the field here. So it looks like Crowell and Campbell are gonna go around. Dennis Kane, like he went around as well. I'm assuming these top three, the three drivers in front of Daniel Honeycutt, are probably going to get the wave around as well once they shut the lights off on the pace car, I would assume. Looks like they will do just that. So we'll get set to go as these guys have this sorted out again. So here we go. Honeycutt and Poffenbarger are going to start side by side here on the restart as they are going to take the green on lap 39. Pace truck makes that left-hand turn. And here we go. Racing in the Racers Elite Xfinity Series. Daniel Honeycutt gets a pretty good jump once again. Looks like Puffenbarger might have spun his tires just a little bit as he has faded back a little ways here as Slauson goes down to his inside. Looks like Chris Snyder is going to look there as well as Ira Kohlhaas. But it looks like Puffenbarger has got back out rolling here. It looks like Timothy Hoke hit that outside wall. And we are wrecking here as you see Spencer Hanneman roll through and get bombarded here. Well, let's see what happened. 37. Oh, Timothy Hoke just got loose. Spencer Hanneman tries to avoid him, slides up and hits Jeremy Carter. And both of them go to that outside wall. See what happens here. They come back across the field. Brandon Honeycutt gets hit. Burwell gets hit. Looks like Diego Rodriguez was trying to slow down, and Aaron Marquise just rear-ended him. Ian Campbell, Dennis Kane, Lee Campbell all look like they get through pretty much unscathed there on that high side. We'll get stacked back up, and it looks like Brandon Puffenbarger so Honeycutt and Puffenbarger are going to start front and behind. Daniel Honeycutt's going to have another go at this restart. Todd Slosson's going to be to the high side. Chris Snyder's also going to be up on the high line. So that caution brought out by Timothy Hoke looked like he was trying to get back on the throttle, and his rear tires just didn't have the grip when he needed it. Wound up sliding sideways, and that caused Spencer Henneman to try and go up the track. Got into Jeremy Carter, and that is what brought out the caution. Had several drivers involved. Yeah, Diego Rodriguez, Timothy Hoke, Aaron Marquise, Brandon Honeycutt. So we'll see what the rest of the race holds as we're getting close to that 50 lap mark. We'll get these guys locked and loaded here on this restart. See if we can get some green flag laps logged, and we'll see what we can do here. We're stepping away and paying some bills without missing any action on Sim Racing Media. If you guys think this is some good racing, tune in tomorrow night for the Racers Elite Next Gen Series, where there is a tight championship battle there as well. But tonight, it is between Daniel Honeycutt and Brandon Puffenbarger as they get stacked up here. The point gap is 10. But this is the chase for the cup points, so you got just a few points per position. You know, you get your bonus points for winning, but Daniel Honeycutt will have to win, and Puffenbarger have to finish 5th or worse, I believe, in order for him to bring home the championship tonight. There is only one other driver who is currently on the roster that has won here in the Racers Elite Xfinity Series, and that is Andrew Teft. Other than that, it has been all Honeycutt and Puffenbarger. They've won 13 races. Daniel Honeycutt's going to lead them to the green flag. See if we can jump up into the stands here for the restart. Daniel Honeycutt leading him on down. Once he hits that Geico restart zone, it is all his to go when he wants. He waits till almost the end and gets a pretty good jump there. As it looks like Todd Slosson's able to slide down in front of Puffenbarger. Looks like Ira Kohlhaas might have got a little bit of a jump there as he was trying to avoid Kinsley Smith. Kinsley Smith almost went into that outside wall, working through the corner there, headed down the backstretch. Ian Campbell had one of the fastest machines on track at the start of the race. Pit cycle kind of made him go towards the back, but now he is looking to get back towards the front. Jarrett Larder, just in front of him, has that number 2 Chevy up 11 spots inside the top 10 for the first time tonight. Kinsley Smith is the biggest mover on track in that 00 Aaron's Dream machine here. Up 14 spots, running inside the top 5. But we got Daniel Honeycutt, who has led basically every lap that he needed to until the last, I'm going to say 5 to 10 before that caution where Ian Campbell kind of took over. But Daniel Honeycutt doesn't care who leads the most laps. You don't get bonus points for leading the most laps. You don't get bonus points for leading a lap. You have to win the race to get the 5 extra points. I believe that's going to separate him from Brandon Puffenbarger, as Puffenbarger is still holding on to P3 right now, just in front of Chris Snyder and Kinsley Smith. Daniel Honeycutt working the wheel of that 72 machine. Looks like he's got a pretty good car on these little short runs, but as the run wears on, it might be something to look out for later in the race. If we have a short run, he will have the car to beat, I do believe. But on the longer run, it seems like Puffenbarger's been able to catch him. So it'll all come down to what the race and what the pace is at the finish here. Todd Slosson's going down to the inside. Looked like he was trying to stick his nose just inside the left rear quarter panel there. But nothing doing as Honeycutt gets away. So with that being said, as we're working through lap 48 here, headed to 49, I'm going to step aside as we go side by side. You won't miss anything here on Sim Racing Media and the Racers Elite Xfinity Series Championship race tonight. We'll be right back after this. Welcome back here to Sim Racing Media and the Racers Elite Xfinity Series. Mike Timoni up in the booth as usual for these guys as they showcase their skills on the track. Todd Slauson was able to get past Daniel Honeycutt for the lead. Honeycutt still hanging on there. Looks like he's about 0.3 of a second back. Kinsley Smith is up into P3 right now, just in front of Brandon Puffenbarger. Puffenbarger faded back to P4 on this last restart. Chris Snyder's been trying to get back towards the front most of the night. Started up in P3. Ira Kohlhaas up a couple spots, running right now into P6. Ian Campbell in that 12 Ford was lightning quick early. Got kind of caught in a bad position on the first or second caution of the night, as he already made a pit stop, so he had to start at the back of the field. But he is moving his way through the field inside the top 10 right now, running P7. Alex Teft up 5 spots to P8. Joshua Neal been running pretty tough right now, running P9. And we got a battle brewing back here between several drivers. Looks like Lee Campbell, Andrew Teft, Corey Crowell. And you also have like Jeremy Carter in the 26 machine trying to roll up there too. Dennis Kane not too far back as they come through the quad oval, completing lap 57. Andrew Teft looking to the inside there of Joshua Neal. He's going to take that spot. Neal's been running fairly decent here. Kind of stay out of the way, just roll through, log some laps. He slides back a couple spots just outside the top 10 right now, as Lee Campbell looking to his inside, going to make that pass. Well, maybe. Neal had a good run coming off of turn 4 or turn 2 down the backstretch, headed into 3 and 4. See if Campbell's going to be able to get in front. It looks like he will as they come through the quad oval, slide up in front, try and straighten out the front stretch a little bit more. Daniel Honeycutt was able to get back by Todd Slauson here. Everybody should be thinking about coming to pit lane sometime soon. Honeycutt, Slauson, and all of the leaders here came down. Well, looks like we got a crash on track too, but I think he's off. Was able to get off the oh no, he's not. We're under caution now. Like he crashed a couple times. Let's go take a look here. See what happened to Diego. Diego coming down the front stretch. He's the 17 machine. Slides up in front of... Well, tries to slide up in front of the 87 Toyota. Gets turned sideways. And that is what brings out the caution here. Looks like he will jump to pit lane, so... That brought out another caution, and these cautions are almost well timed. Depends on how many laps they could make it. Everybody's probably going to come down as they last pitted on lap 35. So that is no surprise there. If you can make it on about 35 laps, we will see a race off pit lane here. as literally everybody is in pit lane right now. '72 machine was able to get out in front. Kinsley Smith with a good stop, up 17 spots now. Is that 00 machine he was able to get that Toyota out in P2, so he'll be starting on the outside row. Todd Slauson was able to get out P3. Puffenbarger still hanging out around P4. Evening, Sura, as always, checking in on that YouTube chat. You guys are hanging out there. Tell me if you think Honeycutt is going to be able to do anything with this championship race here, or if Puffenbarger is going to make a mistake, because I believe that's what it's going to come down to, is Honeycutt or Puffenbarger making a mistake. We'll see what happens as this race rolls on, but the mistakes for both of them have been few and far between. I was listing off at the beginning of the broadcast. I mean, basically, both of these drivers have been inside the top 10 every time they've got on track. Diego Rodriguez still on pit lane. Yeah, lights are still on the pace car, so they'll roll through another lap here at Texas Motor Speedway. Last caution brought out by Diego Rodriguez, sliding up. Not quite clear of the 87 machine. That brought out caution number 4 here. Lights should go out on the pace truck this time by. And we'll get locked and loaded and ready to let these guys get back to green flag racing momentarily. We'll see if Daniel Honeycutt can get the restarts he's been able to get every time. Gets out to about 0.3 of a second lead. Slides on over in front of the driver in that outside lane to pick his lane coming through turn 1. He's been able to do that with, I believe, 3 different drivers working that outside line. So here they come through 3 and 4. Geico restart zone, and Honeycutt gets a great jump there. 0.3 of a second. Able to slide on over like he has every time. Gets to the line he wants. Slides back down to the inside. Rolling through. Kinsley Smith has not been able to get down, but coming down the backstretch, he certainly will here. Looks like Andrew Teft working that high, or no, that isn't Andrew. That's Ira Kohaus in front of Andrew Teft working the high line. He was doing it earlier. He was able to get a ton of speed out of that 29 machine. It looks like Chris Snyder's working the high side of Kinsley Smith. Todd Slauson goes down to the inside, going to test Honeycutt down low. Honeycutt slides up, tries to avoid the 88 machine as they come through 4. Side by side still. Looks like Honeycutt still got the lead at the line. Gets a pretty good run coming through the quad oval there. Now it's about a couple tenths of a second lead. Kinsley Smith worked that high line through 1 and 2 and past Todd Slauson there. Slauson slides down to the low line to try and get a little more speed out of that 88 machine. Chris Snyder up to P4 now. Brandon Puffenbarger running P5. Fastest man on the track is Ian Campbell. He was pretty quick early. We'll see how he can roll through these last laps here at Texas Motor Speedway. Daniel Honeycutt is losing ground here as Kinsley Smith goes to the point. Honeycutt still battling side by side with Todd Slauson. Puffenbarger almost put 3 wide by Alex Teft and Chris Snyder. Ira Kohlhaas down on the bottom, rolls through the corner. Todd Slauson goes to the inside of Honeycutt. And they are side by side. Puffenbarger side by side with Snyder. But Kinsley Smith is out to almost a half-second lead now. He's got that Aaron's Dream machine walking on air right now. Ira Kohlhaas, Alex Teft, and Chris Snyder keep tempting it 3 wide. Just haven't been able to do it yet. As they back out, looks like Ira Kohlhaas got down on the apron just a little bit, going to lose a little bit of speed, but he's able to keep that 29 machine under him as they head through the quad oval. Looks like Alex Teft got checked up there for some reason, and everybody basically freight trained him on the bottom. Andrew Teft and Ian Campbell on the low line here. They're hooked up, working pretty well together here. Campbell tries to cut the corner a little bit more going through that quad oval. Just can't quite do it there. Kinsley Smith is still driving away out to almost a second lead. We'll see if that's going to cost him his tires later in this run. 72 and 5 are now nose to tail there, as Puffenbarger is starting to close back in on Daniel Honeycutt. I think Puffenbarger has a little bit better long run car, but we'll see what happens. Maybe Honeycutt's been backing off a little bit, as it seemed like he gave the lead up to Ian Campbell there towards the end of the run, but was able to kind of battle back towards it. Ira Kohlhaas, Snyder, and Andrew Teft making it 3 wide as they come down through 3 and 4. Ira Kohlhaas clears off as they go back to single file. Puffenbarger goes middle lane. Honeycutt stays down low. Coming through the quad oval. Get back in line. Puffenbarger all over there. The back there of Honeycutt. See if we can get on board here of that MVP Roofing and Restoration number 5 machine as he's closing in here on the 72 Toyota of Daniel Honeycutt. George's Restaurant. Down to the inside goes Puffenbarger. Gonna stay tight. Tight through the quad oval. Puffenbarger backs out a little bit sooner than Honeycutt did, but he will stay down there on the inside. Side by side. Down the backstretch. Ira Kohlhaas is just watching this all unfold in front of him. Puffenbarger and Honeycutt. Little has separated him almost all night. These guys are separated by 10 points in the season standings. Puffenbarger just has to keep Honeycutt within shouting distance here, and it looks like Honeycutt's backed off just a little ways as they come down the backstretch. Looks like Snyder got into that outside wall. Ian Campbell was going to try and take advantage. If he didn't get close, he didn't hit it. It was really close there on that number 3 machine as they come through the quad oval. Ian Campbell trying to get back up inside the top 5 as he's currently running 7th and 8th with Snyder there. Corey Crawwell inside the top 10. Had a little rough night at the beginning of the night, but has battled back now. See where these guys are running right now. Puffenbarger, Honeycutt still hanging out 2nd and 3rd. No harm yet. Like we've got 17 laps or so left in this run before we'll see some more pit stops here. These guys have been great once they get set here running. Ooh, looks like Alex Teff checked that outside wall coming out of turn 2. See if we can see some damage on that 43 machine. Not quite, but like he got a little bit loose there coming out of turn 2, headed down the backstretch. Definitely something to look out for as these tires start to wear on here. But Kinsley Smith was out to over a second lead. That has now dwindled to 0.3 of a second. Puffenbarger and Honeycutt are hooked up basically together. They've been running pretty well most of the night. Puffenbarger said earlier, oh, looks like Kinsley Smith got loose, and he is going to slide up out of the racing line, let Puffenbarger and Honeycutt have the preferred line coming through 1 and 2 here as they head down that backstretch. Kinsley Smith is going to lose 3 positions there, maybe 4, as Kohlhaas and Slauson are down on the inside lane. Kinsley Smith's able to get that car back underneath him as they head back towards the quad oval. Andrew Teft looking pretty good here too, up 4 spots now, running P6. Honeycutt was able to pass Puffenbarger once again here. Like they're just playing a little game of cat and mouse here. They're still 1-2. Nothing really hurt. Might tighten the standings a little bit here as they come down that quad oval. Looks like Puffenbarger's losing a little bit of ground. Still hanging out P2 right at the moment. But don't look now. In 6th place is Ian Campbell. Ian Campbell ran the fastest lap of the race by almost 1/10 of a second. Oh, it was a few laps ago, but he's still one of the fastest cars out on track. Honeycutt, Puffenbarger are running pretty well. Just trying to minimize mistakes We'll see what happens once they make that money stop and get to where it really matters here. Ira Kohlhaas working that high line again. He had a ton of speed early in the run. He was able to stay about a car length off the wall through the corners, and then he'd cut it down and be able to pass 3 or 4 people when they were running early. Ian Campbell has now found himself inside the top 5 as he makes a pass on Andrew Teft. Once again, thank you everybody for tuning in on YouTube. If you are there, go ahead and subscribe. Turn on those bell notifications. We do this multiple times a week, multiple times a night. There also is another championship battle on the channel. Probably going to wrap up, I'm going to say half an hour or so after we do here in the Moonshiners Racing League. Ian Campbell's able to get by Ira Kohlhaas here. Up into P4 now. Todd Slauson is testing Puffenbarger, and he will take the position away as it looks like Puffenbarger is slowing down here. We'll see if he's going to try and save a little bit of fuel, maybe save some tires for a little later in the run. All about the last stint here and where they're going to wind up. Looks like Andrew Teft was able to get by Ira Kohlhaas. Kohlhaas was running the high line there. Puffenbarger has been able to stop the bleeding just a little bit here. Slides into P3. Nothing hurt for Puffenbarger at the moment. Ian Campbell was going to go to the high line, but it looked like he just backed off just a little bit here as they head through 3 and 4 and come to the quad oval here. Daniel Honeycutt is out to over a second lead, almost like he was shot out of a cannon after he got around Puffenbarger. He just has set sail. Maybe he was saving a little tires or something early in the run, because he gave that up pretty quick there to the 00 of Kinsley Smith. Kinsley Smith now is running back in P10 after starting this green flag run with almost a second lead, but might have burned up his tires a little bit too fast, too soon. But we'll see what happens on this last run. I mean, we're going to be getting 2 pit stops within, I'll say, 7 laps or so, give or take. See who blinks first and heads down pit lane. Daniel Honeycutt out to over a second lead. Todd Slauson back in second. Ian Campbell third. Puffenbarger hanging out in P4. Andrew Teft up 5 spots, running P5 right now. It's kind of settled down just a little bit here towards the tail end of this run. That is how you know pit stops are probably coming sometime soon here, as these guys kind of settle down, run a little bit lower line, try and stay out of everybody's way here. But it looks like Ira Kohlhaas is going to go to the high side. Yeah, not quite enough speed there for Kohlhaas to get by Chris Snyder. Andrew Teft got by Puffenbarger. Puffenbarger went to the high side. Allowed Teft to get by. This is what Honeycutt wants to see right now. It'll be a very close battle here if this is the way it would finish. Might have to break out my calculator and do some figuring here, but got 36 laps to go when they come to the start-finish line this time by. Daniel Honeycutt leading the race here. Kinsley Smith coming down pit lane. Jump on back to Todd Slauson in the 88 machine. Ian Campbell, P3. Andrew Teft, Hope Valley Rhode Island. Puffenbarger looking to the inside now. That's our top 5 as they run on track right now. Lee Campbell in, Dennis Kane in. So everybody's getting ready to make their way down pit lane. See if which of the leaders blink first here. Honeycutt staying out. Lawson out. Ian Campbell also stayed out. Andrew Teff, Puffenbarger all stayed out. Snyder stayed out. Roy Crowell, Ira Kohaas, Jeremy Carter all in. I imagine these guys are all going to come down this time by. Trying to just make sure they have enough and don't have to stop if there is a green-white checker. Oh, and they're staying out still. Puffenbarger staying out. He's rolling P6 right now. If Honeycutt's going to come down this time by. And he won't. He stays out still. So Todd Slauson looks like Ian Campbell coming down. Andrew Teff staying out. Snyder stayed out, as did Brandon Puffenbarger. I think Puffenbarger is going to stay out until he sees Daniel Honeycutt come down. Andrew Teff going to come in this time by. See if the 72 comes in. And he will not. Working lap 100. Here in the Racers Elite Xfinity Series Championship night from Texas Motor Speedway. Lawson staying out. Snyder staying out. Puffenbarger staying out. See if they come down this time by. And it doesn't look like they are going to. Everybody's going to get checked up and head on down. Like Josh Meneal's going to come down. No, he is not. Joshua Neal last pit on lap 62, so he should be coming down momentarily. Jeremy Carter goes to his inside. Joshua Neal's going to slide down to the bottom side of the racetrack, going to slow himself down, get down to pit road speed as he comes off of turn 4 here. He'll come down pit lane. So as everybody goes to cycle through, we will see where this leads everybody. Corey Crawwell last pit on lap 96, and he got out in front of Honeycutt. Ira Kohaas also out in front of Honeycutt, but that is where they will finish here. We'll see if the few lap fresher tires are gonna help Daniel Honeycutt. But between Honeycutt and Puffenbarger, there are 6 positions. Third and 9th as they run on track. Crowell is leading, but as they get ready to roll through, we'll step aside momentarily, go picture in picture, catch our breath for a moment, and we'll bring you the conclusion here of the Racers Elite Xfinity Series from Texas Motor Speedway. Welcome back to the Racers Elite Xfinity Series Championship night. Daniel Honeycutt doing what he has to do, was able to get by Ira Kohlhaas and Corey Crowell, and is now leading the race. Puffenbarger's been able to improve a couple positions, but if I'm not mistaken, if this is the way it sits in another 20 laps, I believe that's going to be Daniel Honeycutt bringing home the championship. But we'll put that away for now and focus on the race. Daniel Honeycutt leading the race by almost 0.8 of a second over Ira Kohlhaas. Andrew Teft up 7 spots, running P3 right now. Corey Crowell did a little pit strategy there, got it up to the lead, has now faded back to P4. Corey had a heck of a run last week, but looks to just continue running here and continue making improvements on that 21 Toyota, running inside the top 5. Todd Slauson, one of the new drivers here. These guys have went out and recruited. They're going to have a heck of a league next season, which starts next week. Guys have a full truck series, full Xfinity series, and are getting pretty close to having a full next gen series here. It's all going to be brought to you by Sim Racing Media every night that they are on. They got Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Daniel Honeycutt still rolling through here. Look, we got a few guys that called it a night a little early. But still 23 drivers started the race tonight. Couple of them tapped out after the incident on lap number 1. David Palmer and Brian Tiffany. Aaron Marquise and Diego Rodriguez tapped out on 33 and 57 respectively. Andrew Teft is up to P2 now. Looks like he might have been playing a little bit of possum there, hanging on towards the end. See if everything's still good. Everything's still good, as it looks like we have a driver that went off track, but he was able to get it back going. Looks like Dwayne McManahan is back on track, so we stay green. 16 laps to go. Ira Kohlhaas running P3 right now. Definitely, Sarah. I can't wait. We can swing it here at Sim Racing Media. We're gonna definitely try and get 2 commentators up in the booth, so I am not sitting here just blabbing my gums all night, every night. If these guys keep it up, I'm gonna lose my voice before the end of the week with the way these guys have been running here. Daniel Honeycutt knew what he had to do last week and knows what he has to do this week, and he is doing just that. He is working his way through the laps. Coming up on some lap traffic here. Alex Teft is just in front of him. Teft goes to the high side, going to let Honeycutt kind of have the line that he wants here as they head down the backstretch. Honeycutt's going to get by before they head into turn 3. Like, Alex Teft likes to get close to that wall. I think I've seen him almost hit it 2 or 3 times. I think the only guy that wound up getting a little bit closer was Timothy Hoke, and he actually connected and did a little damage to his ride there. Andrew Teft wants to kind of play a little bit of spoiler here. If he can get this 1 3/4 second gap down and win the race here on championship night of the Xfinity Series. 12 laps to go. And the other guy you have to watch is Brandon Puffenbarger. If he gets up into P5, I'm going to have to wait and see if Andrew can calculate this pretty quickly so we can see who the champion is. Because that is going to make it really close here. Kind of went back through, did a little calculation, and I think right now Daniel Honeycutt would win. But if Puffenbarger gets up to P5, it is going to be tight. Honeycutt rolling through. Shane. That's pretty funny. Andrew is working here, but he's got his brother in front of him. And we know how these two race each other on the track. Looks like Alex is going to stay high, let Andrew go to the low side. Andrew stays down low, going to slide up in front of the 43 machine. He will have to set sail as that gap has now got out to 2.5 seconds for Daniel Honeycutt on that last pit stop. They must have put rocket fuel in because he is just driving away here. 10 laps to go in the Racers Elite Xfinity Series from Texas Motor Speedway. The gap between Brandon Puffenbarger and the driver in second is what you can see on the screen. He has got a half-second gap to make up on Todd Slauson. If he can do that, it will definitely tighten up the points battle. Everybody in front of Puffenbarger are pretty close together. You got Slauson, Crowell, and Ira Kohlhaas. And then there's a 2-second gap to Andrew Teft. Jarrett Larder got past there, might have caught the wall. And it looks like Jarrett Larder had a rough go there. He's sliding down the standings, just rolling through here, trying to just stay out of the way, make sure this race stays green. That is definitely what Daniel Honeycutt wants. He does not want to see that caution flag fly. And yes, sir, that's exactly what you do. You just catch your whole truck on fire. We saw it happen with, I believe, Zane Smith. Can't test something after it's been burnt down. Ira Kohlhaas is sitting in P3, trying to get himself another podium here in the Xfinity Series. Alex Teft staying high, going to let these guys kind of race it down the backstretch. Coming through 3 and 4, headed to the handshake lap. 5 laps to go here for Daniel Honeycutt. And just as I say that, Corey Crawwell, like he had a little hiccup in his run, and Brandon Puffenbarger is now sitting P5. Ira Kohlhaas about 4/10 in front. Todd Slauson got up to P3. So it is going to be a tight battle coming here to the final laps. 4 to go for Daniel Honeycutt. Daniel Honeycutt doing everything in his power to will home this championship. Brandon Puffenbarger is looking to eke out the championship. He said he wasn't the fastest here tonight, and he might not be the fastest, but as long as he stays within shouting distance of Daniel Honeycutt, he will definitely bring home the championship. One more position, and I believe it will pretty much be locked up for Puffenbarger. But we get 3 laps to go for Daniel Honeycutt coming through the quad oval. No mistakes for Honeycutt. And he will do everything he can. He had to win these last 2 races, get as many points as he could in order to put the pressure onto Puffenbarger. And he is doing just that tonight. rolling through 3 and 4, coming through the quad oval. 2 to go. Popsicle sticks in the air, as my good man used to say. Jump back and look at the battle here between Puffenbarger and Ira Kohlhaas. Honeycutt has got to kind of be watching this in his relative, as he's got a 4-second lead over Andrew Teft. If Brandon Puffenbarger can get by Ira Kohlhaas, I believe he's going to lock up the championship, because I don't think that will be enough distance between Honeycutt and Puffenbarger. And Puffenbarger goes down to the inside and is going to try and take P4, and it looks like he will do just that. White flag in the air for Daniel Honeycutt. Coming down the backstretch for the final time at Texas Motor Speedway. Daniel Honeycutt will win at Texas, but Brandon Puffenbarger, I believe, will win the championship. I think he needed at least one more position. We'll see what happens here. We'll send our request to the man with the points, but I do believe that is exactly what's going to happen here. Daniel Honeycutt getting congratulations here as he heads to the front stretch. Puffenbarger will join him. Just getting word that Brandon is the official champion. See if these guys do a little burn down here. See both of them burning it down. Daniel Honeycutt was able to equal the race wins that Brandon Puffenbarger had. But just couldn't quite overcome the points there. Let's see if we can get these guys in here. Doesn't look like I can. Oh, there we go. See if we can get Todd up here. Hey Todd, Mike up in the booth. How's it going, man?
Hey, how's it going?
Oh, not too bad. So you got you showed up tonight. You ran a heck of a race. You wound up P3. How's it feel in your first race here in the Racers Elite Xfinity Series?
Yeah, I appreciate it. It was a really good time. I had an awesome race. You know, I come over from Nora. I appreciate the invite. Christian Snyder, he hooked me up with a ride here, and put the Nationwide is on your side out there on the track, and it was fast as Xfinity 10G. I swear that thing was a bullet out there. Sure had a good time. Appreciate the invite, and I hope I didn't race the championship guys, you know, too rough. I tried to race them pretty hard but clean as well. I had a great time. I appreciate it, and I'm going to be back next season.
Definitely, man. Well, congrats on your P3, and I will definitely look forward to maybe talking to you next season.
Right on. We'll see you.
Yep, later. All right. See if we can get second place up here in the booth. Andrew, Mike up in the booth, man. How's it going?
Doing pretty good. How are you?
Well, not too bad. Well, heck of a race. Looked like you were maybe playing a little bit of possum there. You had some speed for the final run there. Got up 8 positions, wound up P2. How was it racing with this relatively full field in this Xfinity ride?
Yeah, I'll take P2 after spinning out earlier there. Yeah, that was a fun race. Surprisingly clean. Had a bunch of new people join, and we're all getting to know each other. And still super clean race. Long green flag runs at the end there, and yeah, I was able to pass some guys on the longer run. It seemed like I could hold on to my right front a little bit longer than them, grip wise, and at the end, I used up my stuff too early. My right front was just gone. So, but yeah, I'll gladly take the P2 after spinning out coming to pit road there.
Yeah, I definitely caught that on that second caution, but you were able to battle back and wind up P2. So looking forward, you guys have a full field signed on next season. I mean, how's that got to feel for you guys?
Yeah, I'm still a little in shock. Season 2 to have a full roster. But yeah, things are really going well. We're just recruiting a lot of great racers, a lot of clean people, clean racers. Yeah, I'm just excited all around, and yeah, just still feel shocked, blessed to have it all put together somehow. So
Definitely, man.
Yeah.
Well, congrats again on your P2. Anybody you want to thank before we get you out of here tonight and talk to these 2 championship guys?
Yeah, you as always. Congrats to Brandon. He had a really great year, ton of wins. Daniel too. They both did. So yeah, whoever it was tonight was going to be deserving. And congrats to Dan for winning the race.
Definitely, man. Well, congrats again, and I'll talk to you later.
Yep. Thank you.
All right, let's talk to the race winner tonight. Daniel, Mike up in the booth, man. How is it going?
What's up, Mike? What's up?
Not too bad. Well, you did everything you needed to do these last 2 weeks. Everything within your control.
Everything I could possibly think of, I throw it out there.
I mean, the only thing that could have helped you is if you paid another driver to help Brandon out a little bit. But other than that, man,
I sent the offer to him. Nobody picked it up.
I mean, you guys ran a heck of a race. Both of you guys have 7 wins on the season. You wind up P2 in the points, and I believe it's probably by 1 or 2 points is all. When I was doing the math, I knew Brandon had to finish at least 5th or worse to make it really close. But I mean, congrats on back-to-back wins. You basically make it through with more drivers than we've had the whole season here. And it's got to be good for the momentum building up for next season.
Oh, yeah, that's for sure. I'm really looking forward to what next season brings. I got a bunch of things I learned from this season. I kind of learned how to handle Brandon a little bit better. So, I don't know. I'm praying next season I can get in this similar situation and maybe next time walk away with it.
Yeah, definitely. And that's the other thing. I mean, you guys been riding with, usually a 20 or under as far as the car count. And if you have a full season, if anybody makes a little bit of a mistake, it's not going to cost them, 5 or 10 points next season. It's going to hurt a little bit more. So definitely have to work on minimizing mistakes and see where that can get you towards the end of the season. But like I said, congrats on the win. Anybody you want to thank for this season to help you got to get it done, or anything you want to talk about?
Well, I really want to thank the league. It's been a really great season. First season for them. First league I've ever been in. Been a lot of fun. So I really want to thank all those guys and Andrew for putting it on. Sim Racing Media, putting this thing together week in, week out. I'm sure your voice is probably shot by the time this season was ending. Probably shot 3 days ago, but it's been a lot of fun, and I really want to give my shout outs to Brandon. It's been a tough battle all year long. When we started the playoffs, I was joking with him. I was kind of like, yeah, we'll probably just end up tying. They'll probably give us both the trophy, but I don't know. We got, a couple points away from tying, so, I mean, I can't complain. He's been really clean. I've been there. And so I really want to thank him for racing me good and putting a little bit of a excitement.
Definitely, man. I loved watching it, love calling it, and look forward to doing it more next year. But congrats on your back-to-back wins and second in the points, and look forward to talking to you next season as well.
Oh, yeah. Hope to see you some more.
Definitely, man. Well, congrats again.
All right. Thank you.
So with that, we will move to the season champion here. Brandon, Mike up in the booth, man. How is it going tonight?
Not too bad.
Well, you did, I'll say just enough, maybe one position better than you needed to secure the title tonight. How was the racing tonight, and how are you feeling overall about your season?
It wasn't bad tonight. I wasn't great per se, like usual. A bunch of the other guys were definitely quicker than me, so I needed it to go like green longer. But after that, I figured, well, I saw that I was burning off my right front, so. But the season was great, and it's fun racing with these guys. Me and Daniel banter back and forth all week, so about who's going to win the next race. So it's always fun racing with these guys.
Yeah, definitely. You and Daniel went back and forth. Both of you guys have won 7 times this season. Looking forward to next season. You're coming back in the Xfinity, right? Full time?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, definitely going to be a tough battle between you and Daniel, especially with all the new guys that are joining in the full fields we're going to have.
Yeah, it's going to definitely be interesting. I don't think you'll see any one person win as much as me and Daniel did this year. There'll probably be like around 3 or 4 wins for next season with just the amount of cars we're going to have on track.
Yeah, definitely, man. Well, congrats on your season championship. Anybody you want to thank before we get you out of here tonight to go celebrate your victory?
Just you for putting on the broadcast, Andrew and the guys for putting it on and having me, Daniel for racing clean all season, and all the guys for coming out tonight.
Definitely, man. Well, congrats once again, and I will get you out of here.
10-4.
Well, we'll go ahead and run down the race results. Daniel Honeycutt did what he needed to do, won the race, but didn't quite get the help he needed to bring home the championship. Winds up finishing second in the points. Andrew Teft up to P2 after an early incident. Todd Slauson shows up and shows what he will bring to next season. Brandon Puffenbarger up to P4, held on, stayed about P4 all night. That's where he started. That's where he finished. Just enough to bring home the championship. Our co-host rounds out the top 5. Corey Crawwell, Ian Campbell, Jeremy Carter, Lee Campbell, Dennis Kane round out that top 10. We go Kinsley Smith, Joshua Neal, Alex Teft, Brandon Honeycutt, and Spencer Hanneman will round out the top 15. Timothy Hoke, Chris Snyder, Dwayne McMahon. And then we roll to the next page. Jarrett Larder, Diego Rodriguez, Aaron Marquise, Brian Tiffany, and David Palmer round out the field of 23 drivers that took part tonight. So with that being said, I want to invite everybody to tune in tomorrow night. If you thought tonight was a blast, just wait till tomorrow night. There are 0 points. It is a deadlock tie for the championship between Andrew Teft and our Truck Series champion here, Austin John Smith. So with those two do battle, every position will matter on track. Even one is enough for the other to win the championship. But from all the drivers here of the Racers Elite Xfinity Series and all of us here at Sim Racing Media, I want to wish you good night, and I will see you tomorrow night.